Mark Sylvester Flemmonds was born on the ominous night of December 31st, 1961, as the old year died and a new one stirred with unseen possibilities. His life, outwardly marked by humor and friendliness, harbored undercurrents of unease. He attended Speedway, Indiana High School, where he played in the school band, his laughter often filling the air, masking the unsettling shadows that seemed to follow him. In Speedway, a town where few African-American families dared to reside, the Flemmonds were an anomaly. They stood out in stark contrast against the town's predominantly white backdrop. Mark's parents, devout Jehovah's Witnesses, kept a vigilant watch over their children, rarely allowing them to step beyond the safe, suffocating walls of their apartment in the Big Eagle Apartments. The family's movements were ghostly, seldom seen by neighbors, their lives an enigma. The irresistible allure of the Galaxy, a popular dance club for teenagers, was strictly off limits to Mark, its vibrant life throbbing just across the street from the burger chef, a constant reminder of the freedom he could not touch. The night of November 17, 1978, was cloaked in an uneasy stillness. Mark was not meant to work that night, but in an ill-fated twist, he agreed to cover a shift for his co-worker, Ginger Anderson. As the night deepened, Mark's friend, Kirk Thompson, wandered to the Galaxy, waiting for Mark to finish his shift. As the clock struck midnight, Thompson made his way to the burger chef. The scene that greeted him was drenched in an unsettling quiet. Cars lingered in the parking lot, the back door stood ajar, a gaping mouth in the darkness, and an eerie silence hung heavy in the air. Thompson, unnerved by the absence of any signs of life, walked home alone, the night swallowing his footsteps. Mark, along with 3 other Burger Chef employees, was taken from the restaurant, their abduction a dark blot on the town's history. Their bodies were unearthed in a bleak, wooded area in Johnson County, Indiana on November 19, 1978. The scene was a grotesque tableau of violence and demise. Danny Davis and Ruth Shelton lay cold and still. Each felled by merciless artillery, Jane Frick, their manager, was discovered with multiple stab wounds, her life drained in a frenzy of blood. Mark's end was particularly brutal. Blunt force trauma and asphyxiation extinguished his young life, his final moments, a hellish blend of pain and terror. In the 1978-79 Speedway High School yearbook, Mark Flemmonds was remembered through the fog of grief, a classmate's tribute to his smiling face and laughing eyes. The jokes that once brought light to their days now resonated with a chilling echo, a haunting reminder of a joy stolen by darkness. Mark Flemmonds was just 16 years old when his life was violently cut short, his promising future swallowed by an abyss of cruelty. His existence, once a beacon of light and laughter, now lingers as a spectral memory in the halls of Speedway High, a life forever marked by an eerie, tragic end. In the dim, quiet streets of Melvindale, Michigan, a man known for his devotion to family and fierce love for his teenage son, DJ, had vanished. This man, David, held a special bond with his father, Elton, and his sister, Tasha Carter Jackson, ties so tight they seemed almost supernatural. His affection for DJ was boundless, a love mirrored by the eerie calm of their shared moments. Despite the end of his romantic involvement with DJ's mother, Samia Connor, their relationship remained cautiously warm. David was a relentless worker at a top-tier auto supplier, his days consumed by the grind, yet he somehow found time to coach the Melvindale Junior Football League. His visits to his parents' home were frequent, almost as if compelled by an unseen force, and as if driven by some insatiable need. The 39-year-old had recently launched his own clothing line, Lavish Habits Clothing, as though he were trying to leave a mark, a legacy, before time ran out. The unsettling quiet of October 2, 2018 was broken by frantic calls from David's colleagues. He had not appeared at the Magna seating plant in Highland Park, Michigan for 3 days. The air grew thick with dread. His family knew immediately that something was terribly wrong. He had last been seen at DJ's football game on September 28th, a haunting evening where his girlfriend of 6 months, Tammy Williams, lingered in the background, watching. But not sitting with David. Tasia, sensing an impending doom, believed her brother was on the brink of a breakup with Tammy, citing her possessive behavior as a malignant force. David was expected at work on September 30th, a shift that promised triple time, a lure he would never resist. That same day, DJ was to visit his father, but a terse, cold text from David's phone claimed he was too ill. This stark deviation from his character sent chills through those who knew him. DJ, driven by an inexplicable urge, went to his father's apartment at Gale Gardens anyway. There, in the dim light, he encountered Tammy, eerily taking out the trash. Her hurried retreat into the apartment, locking the door behind her, only deepened the foreboding atmosphere. DJ, using his key, eventually entered the apartment to find her inside. Claiming David was out walking, her ghostly explanation hung heavy in the air, thick with unspoken terror. After the ominous call from David's job, a sense of dread settled over Tasia. She and her husband Derek drove to the Gale Gardens apartment, the night air thick with an unsettling quiet. David's car sat in its usual spot, a silent sentinel, but the unlocked apartment door sent chills down their spines. David, ever the security fanatic, would never leave his door unlocked. Alarmed, Tasia called her father, Elton, and DJ's mother, Samia. Together, they ventured into the shadowed apartment. Inside, the air was heavy with a foreboding presence. The once immaculate bedroom, a reflection of David's meticulous nature, was now a scene from a nightmare. The bed lay in disarray, a stark departure from David's usual orderliness. A gunshot hole marred the mattress, bloodstains darkening the fabric like sinister shadows. Blood had seeped into the carpet beneath the bed, adding to the macabre tableau. David had vanished, leaving behind only a chilling silence. In desperation, Tasia dialed Tammy. The woman's voice on the other end of the line was cold, detached, claiming ignorance of David's whereabouts. Fear gripped the family, their anxiety mounting with each passing moment. With hearts pounding, they reported David missing to the Melvindale Police Department, the dread of the unknown pressing heavily upon them. The next day, a chilling phone call from the police shattered Elton's world. They had made a grim discovery in Ohio, about 95 miles from David's home. On October 1st, a Department of Transportation worker stumbled upon a weird-looking sleeping bag tangled in the weeds along I-75 in Eagle Township. Inside the bag, the severed lower torso and legs of a human being lay concealed. When authorities asked Elton if David had a tattoo of a pit bull on his upper left leg, Elton's heart sank. He knew, with dreadful certainty, that his son had been found, and the outcome was horrifying beyond comprehension. With the discovery confirmed, the police launched a homicide investigation into David's demise. Michigan State Police crime scene technicians and Melvindale Police Department detectives swarmed the Gale Gardens apartment, combing through every inch for evidence. Whispers spread that remains had been found in Melvindale, but the specifics were shrouded in uncertainty. On October 5th, authorities arrested Tammy Williams, David's girlfriend, naming her as a suspect. Her disturbing lack of concern over David's disappearance and her strange behavior, as recounted by DJ, painted her in a sinister light. However, under Michigan law, the police could only detain her for 3 days without concrete evidence. Reluctantly, they had to release her, but she remained a person of interest. The days that followed unveiled further horrors. David's dismembered head was found stuffed in a duffel bag along the same highway. A gruesome discovery revealed he had died from a gunshot wound below his left ear, the bullet exiting through the top of his head. On October 16th, a final bag was located containing David's upper torso, arms, and hands. The man who had lived quietly for his son, his family, and his work had met an unspeakable fate, dismembered and discarded like refuse along a desolate stretch of I-75, far from home and loved ones. But who was responsible for this monstrous act? Authorities had a compelling theory, especially after Tammy, the prime suspect, vanished. She had made several large cash withdrawals and traveled by train from Ann Arbor, Michigan to Chicago. From Chicago, she journeyed to New York and was last seen leaving the Neptune Hotel in Brooklyn's Bushwick section. The trail went cold there. Her whereabouts now? A haunting mystery. You'll find another video coming your way soon. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Stay ready, and do be safe on these streets, people.